Welcome to Rothenburg ob der Tauber, the best preserved medieval town in all of Europe, nestled in Bavaria, in the heart of South Germany. The city was founded in the 12th century and is famous for its fairy tale architecture, charming castles, and flawlessly preserved city walls. So come with me and let's step back in time to the magic of the Middle Ages. Now, if you're like me and also want to visit this city, the best way to do so is to take a train from Frankfurt, Stuttgart or Nürnberg, as these three large cities are located at the relatively close proximity to Rothenburg. In my case, I went from Frankfurt.
The journey takes approximately 2 to 2.5 hours and costs between 20 and 40 euro, depending on how much in advance you buy the ticket.
Oh, and it also offers some pretty amazing views of the Germany's countryside.
Now, once you get to the city's train station, all that you need to do is take a 5-minute walk to reach our first attraction, or at least my first attraction. And that attraction is called Plonline, this charming fork in the road that features half-timbered houses flanked with 2 medieval towers, is probably the most photogenic spot in the entire city.
The towers, which are the most recognizable features of this place, are called Siebersturm and Kobelzeller. They were built in 1385 and 1360 respectively and were the first structures erected on the street. After Plonline, take a 5-minute walk to Rodertor, one of the main city gates which were built at the end of 13th century and were at the time a key part of the original fortifications designed to protect the town from potential invaders.
Walls did serve its purpose and helped the city protect itself during many violent times, including the 30 Years' War in the 17th century, the Napoleonic Wars in the 19th century, and more recently, World War II, when in the April of 1945 the city felt under occupation of US Army, but the rumor has it that they were so impressed by the beauty of this city that they couldn't destroy it. You can next move to St. James Church, or Jakobirche. This Gothic church in the center of the city took nearly 170 years to build, and since it was built in 1948 until this very day, it serves as the religious center of the city.
This Gothic church also houses the renowned Holy Blood altarpiece by Tilman Riemenschneider, a masterpiece of wood carving that was added around 1500. One more thing that makes this altar so significant is that it contains a relic of the Holy Blood, believed to be a drop of Christ's blood in a crystal capsule above the Last Supper scene, but it was unfortunately going through the process of restoration at the time of filming. But that's not all, because there is also another altar in this church. This one is called High Altar or Hauptaltar and is located in the eastern choir, which is the traditional altar location.
Now, if you're wondering why are there 2 altars in the cathedral, well, the correct answer is the most obvious one. The cathedral served a dual function, both a local parish and also a pilgrims for Way of St. James. So each altar was used for one of those 2 functions.
And it was the high altar in the eastern choir that was used for the town's local congregations, while the Holy Blood altar in the western choir was specially used for pilgrims, who entered from the west and came to venerate the relic of Christ's blood. In front front of the church you will also find Markplatz, the 13th century main square of the city,
and the place where you will find the city's most grand and impressive architecture.
It was the center of daily life, bustling with markets, festivals, public gatherings and shops, which all remain here to this very day. When you come here, make sure to check the Rathaus or the City Hall, the 13th century building with a tower that offers a 360 view of the city.
Yeah, the views really are amazing.
But prepare yourself, because it's going to be quite the climb.
Sorry?
I know that you're probably completely in love with this beautiful city by now, but I will show you something that will make you fall in love with it even more, because in Rothenburg, next to the flawlessly preserved city core, you will also find some very unique museums, and one that rules the list is definitely Medieval Crime and Justice Museum.
The museum that you can see behind me is dedicated to law, torture, punishment and justice, from medieval times to early modern period.
So naturally, here you will find torture devices, execution tools, legal documents, and there is even a witch trial section with original records and artifacts from the real trials. Oh, and let's not forget public humiliation instruments, which are still used today but for some other purposes.
Also, one more thing that you probably don't want to miss are these local bakery sweets. So I found one bakery and there were a lot of people there, and the bakery is right in the city center. So if you go to the city center, right there on the right, there is a bakery and they're selling, I'm not sure what it is, but it's some kind of looks like a ball literally. And they have it in many tastes. And then I asked which one is not too sweet, and then they gave me two. And yeah, now I'm gonna try it and see what's up with that. It's good, but it's pretty much a really big cookie, and it looks way better than it tastes. It tastes average. It's a big cookie.
You also don't want to miss the Spital Bastion or Spital Bastel, which is one of the most fascinating and heavily fortified parts of Rothenburg of their Tauber's medieval defense, and also a masterpiece of 17th century military architecture.
Now, what makes this bastion so special is that it was constructed after the invention of gunpowder, when traditional walls and defenses were no longer enough. So this bastion was the only place in the city that could resist cannon fire and modern sieges. And also it was designed for noble purpose of protecting the hospital area. So that's something to keep in mind.
But strong walls weren't the only layer of protection that this bastion had. It also came with 7-gate defensive system, which means that you had to pass through multiple gates, courtyards and passageways to get inside. That slowed down the attackers and trapped them in kill zones, which you have to admit is really cool.
So I just exited this bastion and walked around the city walls, and to be honest, now I have no idea how to get back inside the city, which is one more confirmation that these doors were effective not only on the invaders but also on the people who built them.
Finish your day with a random stroll around the city. I personally suggest you to explore areas near the city walls, as they offer the most unique urban landscapes that truly look like they came straight out of fairy tale. And don't forget to drink a glass of Deutsche beer, or how Germans would call it, das beste Bier.